the key elements. Some of the key elements with respect to the Getting Started Guide. It almost reduces the learning curve. Okay, so you have the ability to refer back to things that you've been doing with them. Okay, because we want to start building the team. So one of the things we want to do is we want to prepare the newly sponsored franchise owner, your new partner. We want to prepare them to do the evaluation approach. Okay, and the reason the evaluation approach is because it's very, very simple. Okay, you may, regardless, wherever they're located geographically, you're looking to expand your business. Okay, so it really doesn't matter whether they're in Juneau, Alaska, or they're right down the street. Okay, it doesn't matter. Wherever they are, that's where you're looking to expand the business. All right. Now, in order for them to, for you to help them expand their business, which expands your business, we need to be able to control the conversation. Okay, this is a conversation business. We're going to initiate conversation, and the whole goal here, the whole goal or objective, okay, is to teach them how to secure an appointment to do what? An appointment with somebody off of their list, a possibility, secure an appointment for them to evaluate the business. So the point I'm getting at is getting your new business partner started right is getting them immediately performing the result producing activities, prospecting and qualifying, okay, as well as we want to be introducing the product when we get into a trial run. Okay, but we're going to assume this is, a new personally sponsored franchise owner, and we're basically, setting them up to get started right. Scott, anything you'd like to add to anything that I just went through?
No, I was just actually responding, and I'll speak this one rather than responding and typing. The audio may be a little bit odd every now and then, just a little bit of max headroom, but I think if people just understand that you're in Taiwan and the fact that we're hearing you at all, this is pretty darn amazing in my book.
Okay.
As far as adding, the building at a distance, this online boom, the Zooms, it has made that so much more available. But I also don't want people to forget, especially now that the pandemic seems to be easing up, we need to get back out there face to face. We really need that in-person contact to solidify people, to bring them into the family, if you will.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. The strength of your organization is going to be dependent upon the strength of your relationship with your business partners. Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now, and people can argue all they want, but they're wrong. Okay, you cannot build a relationship, a meaningful relationship with somebody purely via online. Okay, people, we like up close, personal. Okay, we like elbow to elbow, knee to knee. That type of relationship where we're involved and we're engaged with the person, doing things with them that are going to benefit them. Okay, online is great, but it only goes so far. Okay, there's no substitute for person to person. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to prepare so that we can control the conversation. Remember, you're sponsoring. Okay, we want to get our people started right. So they have to have we got to get ready to expose the business. Okay, expose the business, whether we're approaching them about the business or approaching them about a product. The point is that everything has to be done this way. You have to have an answer to what do you do. Why? Because that's they're going to ask you, because one of the first things you're going to ask them, if it's cold or even if you know what they do, you're going to ask them how's it going, and you're going to start inquiring about what they're doing. Again, everything comes back to what? Family, occupation, recreation, and money. Okay. So the thing is, but after you get done, after you've engaged, initiated the conversation and really inquired as to what's going on in their life, really making them feel important. And I don't mean that, sarcastically. I'm saying really take and get engaged and inquire what's going on in their life. What's important to them? What challenges may they be experiencing? Okay. People will tell you things if you demonstrate that you're willing to listen. Okay. Willing to listen. Okay. But after it's all over, they're going to be basically, well, what do you do? This is if somebody, but you have to have an answer to this. Okay. You might say I'm a teacher, but what I'm really excited about is this business I just started on a part-time basis. Okay. When people ask me what I do, I say I help people establish businesses they can operate part-time, working 8 to 15 hours a week, okay, in order to generate a secondary source of income. That's what I do, okay? Now, but the thing is you've got to find, you have to come up with what you do. Okay, and it can't be canned. It can't be like, can't be mine necessarily. You've got to have your own so you don't sound weird. As soon as you start sounding weird, you start sounding like a human tape, it scares people. Okay, it scares people. And the thing is you don't want to come across like you're remembering scripts because it sounds stressful. Okay, and people smell stress. They smell being uncomfortable. And what you're doing is you're communicating that, you're really not comfortable. You don't know what it's not flowing, whatever. All of a sudden, it's like whatever you caught, whatever you have, I don't want it. Okay. And so they start to, pull away. All right. Let's see if I can operate this. Okay. So this is an example. Let me see if I can move this out of the way here because it's cluttering. There we go. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So here's an example, and imagine that. I help people interested in improving their current, future financial position, establishing a business that can operate. Okay. It's a takeoff of what I just told you, which is my, what do I do? Okay, so this is the type of thing. Why? Because remember, after you've inquired, you've gotten them. You've got to remember what we're doing when we're prospecting is we're actually surveying. We're gathering data. We're data mining. We're trying to find out as much as we can about that individual, so we can always turn the conversation back on, to them. Okay, all right. We want to make them the issue. It's about them. It's not about us. It's not about what we want them to do. It's about what can we do, to provide a solution to whatever is challenging them currently. Okay. All right. Next, what stops most people from bringing up the business? Okay. It's the fear of being asked, what is it? Okay. Now, all of a sudden, I help people establish businesses they can operate part-time in order to generate a secondary source of income. We get to there. Okay, well, what is it? See, a lot of people that's where they freeze. So you got to have an answer to what is it. Okay. Now, I don't, here I keep it simple. And guess where I get this is my answer to what is it? Comes right out of the UBP. Okay, unfranchised business. We're a product brokerage, internet marketing company. Okay, that specializes in one-to-one marketing. The name of the company is called marketamericashop.com. Have you heard of it? Okay, now what did I do there? I threw a lot at them when I explained what is it, didn't I? Product brokerage, internet marketing, one-to-one marketing. Okay, so everybody thought. So basically, I threw stuff out because what do I want them to do? I want them to ask more questions. Well, what do you mean by product brokerage? What do you mean? How do you market on the internet? Okay. What do you mean by one-to-one marketing? You mean like direct sales, knocking on doors, that type of, no, that's not what I'm talking about. But see, now all of a sudden I keep the conversation going. I keep the dialogue going. Remember, I'm doing more listening than talking. Sure, I'm explaining the concept. Okay. But I'm reading their body language. They're communicating to me. Okay. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get them to ask more questions. Okay. And keep them engaged. Okay, so but at the same time, don't go into a 2-page treatise, treatise or whatever like that. Keep it simple, something that they can understand. Okay. In other words, I remember when I first got into business, I started speaking on stage, and you got to remember, I worked in a nuclear power business with engineers and everything like that, and Jerry Siciliano and Dennis used to sit in the front row and they'd go like this. Okay. You're using word, people don't understand what you're talking about. You with me? And so the thing is keep it simple, but answer the question. Okay. The goal is to start and continue the dialogue. All right. That's the goal and objective. We want to keep them talking and making sure what'll keep them talking more than anything is our body language, letting them know that, we're listening. Okay. Again, people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. Okay. And that's what we're trying to demonstrate. Okay. That we really care about what's going on in their life. And we're going to, because we're trying to do what? Think of solutions. Okay. So I may expand on it. I use a company called Market America that provides, what we call the unfranchised business development system. Okay. It provides consumers with the highest quality market-driven products in a system for entrepreneurs, okay, that they can generate and create on a part-time basis. So, they can do it in addition to what they do, with respect to their 40, 45-year career. Okay. All right. Any questions on that, Scott? Or anything you'd like to add on that, Scott?
No, we're learning from the master. I'm just kind of filling in gaps.
Right. You stop me because when I get on a roll, I've been doing this for 31 years. So it's kind of like, it's like breathing. It's like breathing. It's about, you get into a rhythm. And that's why the 90-day MUFO action plan, it's about what? 90 days, approximately 13 weeks. What we want to do is we want to create a habit. Okay. All these things we're trying to do, those weekly activities in the back office, in the weekly accountability report, we're trying to get this to be what? A habit. We just habitually do this and it just comes natural. We just get into a rhythm. And pretty soon it's not like 8 to 15 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 12 hours a week, 20 hours. Okay. We just do it. And it's a part of what we do. Okay. Now, the next thing you got to have an answer to what do you do? You got to have an answer to what is it? You got to have a 2-minute commercial, your why. Now, what is your why? Your why isn't a list. It's not your bucket list. Okay. I know those of you who are at leadership school, the bucket list comes after the why. Okay. What we're talking about here is, I'm not sure. Oh, I want to get a new home. I want to buy a new car. I want to do that. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about, okay, are the big rocks. Normally there's 2, 3, 4 big rocks that inspire you to look for a vehicle that will be able to deliver something that you cannot, you just do not believe you're going to be able to achieve solely relying on what you're doing as a primary income. I wanted to have time to get more of a structured daily lifestyle to, take care of my health. Okay. Those were the 4 big things. Those are the things that inspired me to go look for something I could do in addition to what I was currently doing in order to obtain something more than I currently had. That was my why. So really, I just shared with you my 2-minute commercial. Okay. The thing is all the other stuff that I would, if I achieved, found the vehicle, I would be able to basically really own some of the things that right now owned me. Okay. I didn't own them. So the thing is, it would change my whole life. And that was my why. Okay. That was my why.
And Kevin, that's what people need to hear, is they need to hear either your belief that that's going to be what happens because of this business, or your story that that's what happened because of this business. Either way, it's the same effect, but they don't need they're not going to exactly be your story. It's not their story, but they're going to relate to time away from the kids, the different things that they're going to ping on, and you're going to grab their heartstrings, and that's what they need to hear.
Yeah. See, you're giving them something. See, I think right now what I just gave to everybody, there's at least one thing in there that most everybody can identify with here. See, and that's what you want to do. You want to get them identifying with something similar so that then it gets their wheels turning. Okay. So that being said, I just had a senior moment. By the way, it's my birthday today. So I'm very close to 70. So the thing is, you know, you brought up a good point that I wanted to comment on, but it'll come back to me maybe
about it being what's
maybe,
going to your story.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
But you believe that that's what's going to get you there.
You hit it, the magic word, belief. People, let me tell you what, people, they buy the fact that you believe you can achieve, okay, with this vehicle. That's what they buy. They don't buy the 12, 12, 24, 24, 30, the money, okay? They don't buy the business plan necessarily. What they really buy in the beginning is that they whether they get a sense that you really believe this is going to deliver, okay, what you're looking for, okay? So it makes them more inclined to take the next step, all right? All right, now, guess what? You know, you got to engage, you got to set up, you got to engage in a conversation. You got to find somebody to initiate the conversation. Now, you know, I run about 5 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually 6 90-day MUFO action plans throughout Asia every single week. Okay. And I'm not sure, but one of the things I require is you got to have a possibility list of 100 people before you can even participate in this. Okay. So the thing, I'm assuming everybody on this call does have a possibility list of at least 100, and you're adding at least 10 names every week. Okay. New names to that possibility list. But the thing is you got to have someone to contact. Now, hopefully, those of you who are leadership school, you saw how to basically create value with that possibility list, that names list, if you will. Okay. What we want to do is you to have your top 10, top 15, top 20 that you have the strongest relationship with. Okay. Personally. And then you have your next tier. And then finally, it's people that are just in your but you have contact list, but maybe haven't talked to them in 5 years, 7 years, or whatever. They just happen to be on your list. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to start with the top 10, top 20. Okay. With respect to approaching them about the business, to get them to evaluate it, not to show them the plan, to sign them up, but to book an appointment to get them to see, you know, evaluate the business, show them the business from the standpoint of, one, to see if they have an interest or they know somebody that may have an interest. Or maybe they're willing to help you out in the geographic location that you've communicated that you're looking to expand your business. Either way, they can't help you expand the business if they don't know what your business is. Okay, so I always fall back on that. Maybe they're not looking for anything. Maybe, you know, but they don't know if anybody they know, okay, may or may not be interested, because they wouldn't know unless they saw what I'm doing. And because I'm using that warm list, if you will, if I'm using that warm list, okay, it's more of a personal, okay, being able to assist, help. Most everybody wants to help people out if they're not out anything. Okay, human beings, I think most everybody love to help people as long as they're not out anything or they don't have to go out of the way. It's no loss to them. They like, you know, people genuinely like to help. Okay. All right. Remember, when you call people, contact people, here's some things, key points to remember. Only have a second. Reason I'm calling is you want to be quick. Okay. You want to be, you know, you don't want to hem and haw and beat around the bush. You want to respect their time. Okay. Remember, people equate time with difficulty. You know, they equate time with being complicated. Okay. If it takes a lot of time, it's complicated. If it takes a lot of time, it's difficult. If it takes a lot of time, I don't have the time. I just don't have that time. Okay. So the thing is we want to get to the point. So this is all about preparing. Now, the point I'm trying to get at here is why am I talking about this with respect to when I sponsor somebody and getting them started right? I'm getting them started right by doing it with them. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's not about putting them in a cognitive setting in a chair at a kitchen table and going and doing homework. It's not about immediately plugging them into an NUOT. Okay, I know many of you are going to go running down the street with your hair on fire and say, "Oh my God!" Kevin Buckman said, "Don't do the getting started guide. They don't need to go to an NUOT or a base." That's not what I said. What I'm saying is immediately we want to capitalize on the energy, the excitement level. Okay, that is when they're going. That's at the height of their excitement, and we can get them to act. And we want to get them act. I don't want them to act that action to be picking up a pencil. I want them acting on what? Prospecting and qualifying. And you're going to do it with them to show them. We build the business with adults. We don't build the business, okay, with children. But enough said. But the point is, we build the business with adults. They learn by doing. They learn through visualization. They learn through participation. They learn through experience. They need a model. They need somebody to model and duplicate. And that's your job as a leader. Okay, it's not. We got to get out of the management mode. Okay, we need to the leadership mode needs to take over. And everybody can lead by simply setting the example, leading by example, showing them what to do and doing it with them and their people. Okay. When you contact somebody, make sure you edify them. Okay. You may know the right people. I've always respected your opinion. And before I make a decision, I would you could really help me out by evaluating this. You may not even have been in the business. I normally do this when I'm taking somebody through a trial run and they're not even in the business. So I get them to call people, contact people, and use, hey, I just started a business. I've always valued your opinion. I was wondering if you could help me out and evaluate this before I make a decision. Okay, so I will start this process immediate with somebody I sponsor, or I'm using it in the trial run with this person to see whether or not they're right for the business and the business is right for them. Okay, I just want to get together for coffee. Maybe we can get together. I haven't talked to you in a while, Scott. I'd love to catch up, see what you're doing. That kind of thing. And then it may naturally lead into, Scott's going to say, well, what have you been up to, Kevin? What are you doing? I've started this business and, I help people establish businesses that can operate part-time in order to generate a secondary source of income, something they can do in addition to, what they're doing full-time, something a lot. But the point is everything just kind of, that's the beauty of this business. Okay. You can always start from anywhere. Okay. You may or may not be. Go ahead.
You read this like a literal script?
No, it's not.
I say that joking because everybody always asks for the scripts. I like this particular slide, which, by the way, is one of our basic 5 slides. You can all download that in your back office, and this slide is there. But what I like about this is it's not a script. It's 5 main bullets that I want to get into the conversation to guide the flow. And generally, I like to read this and then flip that over so I'm not even seeing it during the call. That just kind of guides the flow and how I want the call to go. Like Kevin said, the call is going to shape and mold because you're having a conversation. This isn't you just reading this.
Right. And the most critical thing that you're doing, this is why there's no script. And it's not something that, that it evolves. And the reason it evolves is because you're listening. You're listening more than talking. Okay. Most people they're thinking about what they're going to say next, not about what that person is saying. But the key to keep a meaningful dialogue going is listening to what they're saying, and then segueing back into the conversation, keeping it going by, talking about what's important to them. Okay. And bottom line is, hey, maybe you can help me out.
Exactly. But yeah, you definitely need to be listening and acknowledge what they're saying. If they're telling you about something going on in their life, but you're thinking 2 steps ahead, trying to figure out what you're going to say, and you're not hearing what they're saying, that's a big mistake. You have to acknowledge and be part of that conversation. You're building that relationship, folks.
And remember this, even if you don't get an appointment to evaluate the business, at least you got maybe an appointment to where you meet with them to nurture the relationship so that you can get another appointment. Jim Winkler always calls it point of contact to point of contact to point of contact to point of contact. It may be the third point of contact where they agree to take a look at the business. It may be the first one, but everything is situational. Okay. All right. Again, this whole process is building trust. Okay. Before you even sit down, to evaluate the plan, find out what you're really trying to do in the conversation, the dialogue leading up to, securing the appointment to evaluate the business is you're trying to build trust. Okay. You're trying to find out what could be in it for them. Okay, because what we want is, I don't want somebody to evaluate the business solely. Well, I said I'd help Scott out, so I'm going to, sit and I'm going to watch this UBP video, or I'm going to watch him go through, the whatever little spiel he's got. Okay. And see, a lot of people, what they do is when they sit down, you don't realize it. When they sit down, they've already decided how they're going, what the transaction is. So what I want to do with that person in the conversation, the dialogue leading up, is I want to try to establish what's in it for me. I want them sitting down, okay, to look at your business based on what's in it for them. What could be in it for them? You with me? I want them to have that what's in it for me, what could be in it for me perspective. Okay. Now you only uncover, you help them when you uncover the challenges they may be currently experiencing. Okay. But remember, you want to ask questions, not too intrusive, but you want to learn about them. Okay. Again, family, occupation, recreation, money, we want to expose their pain. Okay. In other words, what is it that they're not satisfied with currently? Okay. People will do far more to what? Avoid pain than they will to achieve pleasure. Okay. That's human nature. Okay. So I'm a big believer in let's discover, what the pain may be. Okay. People are attracted when you show how much they care. You care. And remember, people are buying you. Okay, they're buying you. Everybody seems to be in a rush to get to the plan, the 12, 12, 24, 24, 36, 35, apply, create, qualify, activate, teach, man. Okay, that's important. But what's really more important is, before we sit down to do the plan, is that we need to communicate to them that what? We really truly believe that this is something that's going to help me achieve what I desire. Okay. That's what they buy. Okay. That's what they buy. All right. Skills needed. You got to be able to ask questions. You got to remember, you got to listen more than talking. We want to keep the dialogue going by asking questions. We want to listen, because that's going to probably tell us what the next question is going to be. Okay, because we want to keep it about them. They need to be the issue. All right. Practice restraint. Remember, we're just trying to book the appointment so that we can show them the business, give them a good, educated overview of how the business model works, and engage in more conversation. Okay. Don't try to explain everything, in the grocery store line. Okay. And then at the same time, pardon?
Trying to explain it, drawing it in the air in the grocery.
Yeah. It's not a mime deal, but I see people do it. I mean, they'll do it at a restaurant, they'll get a waiter or somebody, and all of a sudden they've got a napkin out. And, it's just like, it's not one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful what you do. Okay. You communicate more with your actions than your mouth. Okay. Always be listening for solutions. Listen for problems, and then be thinking solution oriented. Okay. Whether it be a product or the business. All right. Go ahead.
As you're listening for those hot buttons, if you will, they're pain points. Don't be making notes in front of them, but as soon as you aren't in front of them, make notes about those so you don't forget. Because if you schedule another appointment a couple days later, you want to refresh yourself on what their hot buttons were. If you're talking to 10 different people over the course of a week, you might get stories confused. So make sure you make notes and be sensitive when you need to be.
Yep. Very good. Very good. So the thing is, we just got to, once you have their interest, okay, and they're asking questions, that they haven't, you want to book the appointment to evaluate the business, okay? Now, there's many ways to show the plan and show our business, okay? Me personally, I'm a big proponent of using the 20-minute UBP video, okay? Why? Because it's the same every time. It gets the topic of conversation out. It's accurate. It's efficient. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Somebody that's looking at it say, if this is what I'd have to do, okay, because once you get through apply, create, qualify, activate, teach, man, assist others, and they see, the organization unfolding, they're going to be thinking, okay, how am I going to expand my organization? Well, immediately they're saying, well, I could do this. I could push play, you say. So that's another reason I do that. And it's another reason I do it with a newly personally sponsored business partner, okay, in the business. Again, I'm teaching them how, I'm teaching them what to do as a good sponsor, getting somebody started right in the business. And getting them started right is making sure that they're, performing immediately out of the box the result producing activities with best practices. Not, I had it, you got it, go sell some product and go sell, go talk to some people. That's not it. I want to do it with them. Okay. All right. So, it's basically, hey, I got a nice short 20-minute video, Scott. I'd love to sit down with you and take a look at it. It gives you a good overview of the company. It gives you an overview of the business model. And it also, it has some detailed diagrams that show you how we get compensated for the time, energy, and effort we put into the business. Okay. And doesn't take long, See, in this time, like I may just get off the golf course with somebody that I've just spent, 4 hours in a cart with, and they're saying, we've talked, a dialogue, I've initiated the conversation, and they say, well, yeah, take what you want to take a look at when we get back to the clubhouse. I'll get my laptop out. We'll watch the 20 minutes. So no matter what, I'm always ready to go. Okay. That's why I like to use that. Now, I will share this with you, and I wanted to earlier. I can't emphasize getting to new franchise owner trainings, basic 5 trainings, local seminars, our leadership schools, our conventions, getting to the GMTSS event, okay? Because that's where you're going to acquire the knowledge. You're going to acquire the knowledge necessary to prospect, qualify, and sponsor. That's where you're going to get the knowledge necessary, okay, to introduce and expose our products, okay, to people, okay. And the thing is I don't care what your background is. I don't care whether you're a janitor. I don't care whether you're a chemical engineer, the CEO of a business or whatever. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter where you come from, okay? when you engage in a conversation with somebody, okay, and if you can communicate that you possess knowledge that may be of benefit and value to whatever is important to that individual at the time, they're going to open up their mind and they're going to at least take a look. And the only place you can get that knowledge about the business model is, and our products, is by attending, our global meeting training seminars. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. That's why people say, well, I did an NUOT, I did a basic 5. Okay, I'm making sure Scott's my newly sponsored person. I'm playing up, this, we train people, we're going to get educated, we're going to go through here, but there's some other trainings that we're going to go to. So I'm introducing that, to the new business partner. Okay, now when I book an appointment, when we book an appointment, remember, these are things that I'm teaching Scott. Okay, these are things I'm teaching Scott, not telling Scott. Okay, I'm telling Scott why we do them with his people off his possibility list. And if he doesn't have somebody that day, I've got people of my own. I'm bringing Scott with me to have him watch me do what I do. Okay, never work the business alone. Scott's not going to learn the business in a cognitive setting. He's going to become knowledgeable about what he should be doing or what he's supposed to do. He becomes aware of what he's supposed to be, but he doesn't learn it. He learns it by doing it. And that's your job as a sponsor, to get your person, started correctly. All right. Book the appointment. Okay, again, this business, again, I just need you, help me, evaluate it. That, I'm teaching Scott how to what? Prospect and qualify. Okay. The other thing is I always have the person, Scott, we're always going to have your person. Do you know anybody that, you may have an interest in, is looking to improve their financial situation? If they do, it'd be a great time to bring them along. If you got a couple, 2, 3 people that you'd like to have a value, come look at it at the same time, that's great too. And the more the merrier. Okay. A lot of people don't, they want to just do that one-on-one, don't want any, because somebody might be negative. Let me tell you what, I hope, Scott, we book an appointment with somebody that agrees to do it, and they're going to bring 2 or 3 people. And I hope they bring somebody negative, to be honest with you. Okay. Why? Because Scott's going to run into that negativity as a new business partner. Okay. That possibility, that prospect that might have an interest, I know in the future, they're going to run into some negativity, some objections, some pushback. I want Scott to do what? I want Scott to see how I handle the objections, how I handle the rejection, how and basically how I turn around and just educate them, with respect to, that particular objection. Again, the more knowledgeable you are about this business, the better you're going to be able to handle that. But I need to be able to show Scott and teach Scott how to handle. Okay. Again, so, it's always good. It's always good. As long as you got an appointment, it's good. All right. All right, materials to show the plan. There's many, many ways you can use the PowerPoint on your, your computer. You can use the official UBP video. You can use a video of your favorite person you like, the way they show the plan. Okay. I just go, again, I'm just going to go back, that's great. But then the people, they buy the belief of the person that they're seeing on the video. Okay. In the end. Okay. And at the same time, you can, use the unfranchised business presentation. But here's the thing that I found that, I'm not going to say it's all the time, but the thing is wow. Okay. Scott's person. Okay. And Scott are thinking, wow, he really shows that plan good. And what they're thinking is, in order to get what he's got, I got to be able to do what he does. And I don't see myself, in the next 3 months, 6 months, being able to do it like he does. Therefore, all of a sudden, they start to retract. But see, and this is another big reason I use the UBP video. One, it's quick, it's accurate, it's effective, and they can push play.
Duplicatable.
Because, yeah, and the thing is it's duplicatable, and really all it's doing is getting the topic of conversation. Because the real important meeting is the meeting when? After the meeting. Okay? And I don't want to take up what time because if I take an hour and a half to show the plan, with the questions and riding the brake and, thinking that they've got a problem they don't really have, or okay, next thing you know, it turns into, wow, they're thinking, wow, this takes too much time. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm just telling you why I choose to do what I do. Okay. Power profiles. I always have access to some power profiles, access to a magazine. Okay. I'll have, of course, I have my laptop all the time. So if we want, whatever comes out in the meeting after the meeting, I have the ability. Now, I always have everybody fill out a home shopping list. Okay, Scott, we're always going to, fill out, no matter what, whether we show somebody the business, whether we, have them participate in a 3-day trial size marketing survey, whether they buy a product, it doesn't matter. Home shopping annuity is going to be, the home shopping list is going to be filled out, okay? Because I want to identify what products, goods, and services they're already buying from some other business establishment, okay? This is just fundamental, critical, has to be done, okay? We've already been through this. I've talked about, the fact that we nurture the relationship, we build trust, we will build rapport prior to, showing them the business. Been through all of this. 2-minute commercial. Okay. Sharing success stories. Okay. It's always good to, if they bring something up, hey, they're a teacher. Okay, they're a football coach, they're, high school, whatever. It's good to basically share stories or profiles of people. Okay, Elizabeth Weber talks about mirror and matching. Okay, match and mirror, mirror and match, mirror and match. Okay, somebody they can identify. Okay, that is more like them. All right. And again, one of the things we're always trying to find out is what do they want? When do they want it? And what are they willing to do or overcome in order, to achieve it? Okay. Are they committed? Is it a wish list, a hope list, or is it something that, and normally it's the first 4, those 4 big rocks. Okay. You want to keep it general. All right. Again, when we're going through the plan, when I'm using the video or whatever like that, and mostly this takes I do this in the meeting after the meeting, actually. Okay. I let them know that, we've got a team. Okay. It's not just, it's not just me and you, Scott. It's going to be me, you, people that you lead to, people that I'm going to be bringing on board and placing, underneath you. Okay. Because we build deep, we don't build wide. And I have senior partners above me that have a vested economic interest in your success. Okay. And I'm going to talk about the GMTSS, that we have a meeting, training, seminar system that's open. We can plug our people into. So I'm just trying to make it look like it's not just going to be on him. Okay. There's many things that we can do to make this happen. Okay. I let them know some people are going to be skeptical. Okay. Negative. That's okay. Okay. That's just the way it is. All right. But, I let them know. It's like, see, a lot of people, what they do is they get it. They see the business. They buy my belief. They see the business. It's only 2, the whole bit. And they say, oh, it makes so much sense, man. Anybody could do this. Okay. Yeah. Anybody can, but not everybody will. Okay. I want to make sure Scott knows this. This is crucial. Okay. And, if he has unrealistic, because I see people go out there and they think, man, this is as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. And then all of a sudden, the first 8 people they talk to, like, get away from me. I don't want, then all of a sudden they're thinking, oh, wait a minute. Okay, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Okay, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not missing. You just basically talking to people that are comfortably miserable. That's all. Next. But see, you want to make sure that I want to make sure I'm with Scott as much as I possibly can be in anything he does. Okay, because I want to use this. This is where we teach someone the business. Okay. All right.
We do have one hand up. Sherry, I'm going to allow you to talk, or do we want to take it? Yeah. So Sherry, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question. And Kevin, just so you know, we're about 9 minutes from 9.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got a meeting with the general manager of Taiwan. Okay. I've got a hard one too. Go ahead, Sherry, unmute yourself, or Scott, unmute her. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Okay. Once we find out technically how to do that, then maybe we'll have time. Okay. Again, I use the no decision close. Okay. I can't listen. There's no decision to make. People will ask me, I tell you right now, anywhere where from, let's say I get somebody that's really excited. Okay. They love it. Hey, I can put 12 people in my living room tomorrow night. I know people, this is just unbelievable. Okay. I always they say, okay, what's it take to get started? That's code for how much. And I say, well, let me tell you what it takes to get started. There's 12 people you could put in your living room tomorrow night. Let's call them up. Let's put them in the living room. That's what it takes to get started. Okay. All right. Or somebody that's a 6. Yeah, I think it has potential, whatever like that. Well, do you know a couple people that you'd like to run it by and get their opinion to see? Okay. Now remember, I'm doing this with Scott. Scott's a brand new unfranchised owner, but I'm doing this with Scott's people. Okay. I'm doing this with Scott. I'm not teaching Scott to do this in a cognitive setting and then sending him out to do it. I'm doing it with him. It's called follow up in the ABC pattern of building depth. Okay. So the thing is I don't care whether it's 2 people, but on a scale of 1 to 10, they're only a 4, but they know 1 or 2 people, maybe they'd run it by. Okay. Okay. So to get started, okay, what's it take to get started? What it takes to get started is to put those 1, 2 people in front of me and Scott and try some product. Okay. I've got what we call a trial run. Okay. I've got a 3-day trial size of, our number 1 selling product line. I'd love for you to participate in and try our product. And at the same time, let's book an appointment with those 1 or 2 people that you'd like to run it by. Okay. So I'm, Sherry is a possibility or a prospect of, Scott's, and that's what I'm doing. So basically, and I'm teaching Scott the evaluation approach by what? Doing the evaluation approach with Scott. I'm teaching Scott how to conduct a trial run with a new prospect by doing the trial run with Scott and the prospect. Okay, home shopping list goes without saying. You have an electronic one now, so now you can use it long distance. I can do it, run it through with somebody in the clubhouse after golf, whatever it is. But this is the most powerful business building tool you have in your arsenal. More so than actually, believe it or not, more so than the plan. Actually the flip chart, if you will. All right. Now, what to do in between appointments? Plenty of things. Confirm the next appointment. I'm not going to pester, Scott's people. Scott and I are not going to pester them. But what we are going to do is we want to stay in front, a drip, staying in front of them. Okay. Confirm the next appointment. Maybe send them a link to, a webinar we'd like them to participate, maybe pop in on. Any information about, the company. Maybe a video that we think might apply based on our conversation with them that might apply to them, may just to get together, just to kind of nurture the relationship. Again, don't pester them, but at the same time, we want to stay engaged. Okay. Now, I always tell I want it that I got, Scott and I are going to show it to Sherry. Scott and I and Sherry going to show it to Dave. Scott, Sherry, and I. I want Sherry to see the plan 3 times. I always want somebody to see the business 3 times. Okay, so they have good understanding of what it is that we do in this business and what we don't do. Okay, we want to get people to lead to people. I want to plug that, get them to buy a ticket. Okay, to make maybe a basic 5 that's being taken place this Saturday, or a local seminar that's coming up. Okay, I want them to meet people that are also doing this. Okay. I want to get them to a seminar if possible, because when they see people succeeding in the business, it validates the business, okay, with independent third party people, okay? It's critical, all right? Again, I've already covered, we use trial size marketing during the trial run. We also are looking to book meetings. Now, when we sponsor, I'm not going to read these things. These are all accessible. Okay. I try not to use anything that you don't have. And when I do a talk like this, that you don't have access to get. Okay. But the key here is this is when we go to sponsor someone, Scott, this is what you're going to have. Okay. Be prepared. Now I'm going to be walking Scott through this. Okay. When I sponsored him, but I'm also going to provide this to him so that, again, when we go to sponsor Sherry, okay, Scott and I will be at the registration process, and he and I will have a meeting before we meet with Sherry to register her. Okay. So that we're prepared. Okay. Because we want this to go quickly. We don't want it to be something that's, unorganized and not planned, because remember, time, when Sherry's going to associate time with complicated, time with difficulty, time that she already is spending before she even considered being an unfranchised owner. Okay. All right. That being said, I'm going to stop the share.
Yeah, Sherry messaged you had already addressed her question in the discussion. You may want to look through the chat. There is a ton of happy birthday wishes for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I will look through those, and I appreciate it very much. And hope everybody has a great day. I've got 2 minutes to get to another meeting. And then I have another meeting after that. It's very, very busy. And I just saw a couple requests come in from some other countries. All right. But again, I hope, if you have any questions, I'm going to do this to Scott. Okay. If you have any questions, email Scott Grogan. Okay. Scott will get with me and we'll get together and we'll make sure that your questions get answered, and and if not, we'll maybe even get on a call or something. So that being said, everybody have a great day. It was a pleasure, and make sure you get your icon tickets. I'm telling you, get your icon tickets. I'm telling you right now, the more knowledge you possess, the better you're going to be able to prospect. And the better you're going to be able to expose our exclusive products. Okay. And because you can only get that knowledge by attending our meeting, trainings, and seminars. Okay. And the big one is going to be get your tickets to Icon. Get three, not just your ticket, get 3. Okay. We have approximately 5 months between now and our Icon. Okay, International Convention in August. That means, 2 new business partners you should be able to get to that event so that you can get them knowledgeable as well. And let me tell you what, again, that it validates the business. When they see people like themselves succeeding with this business model, what happens is the belief level goes up, not just in the business, but in themselves. All right. So with that, have a great evening and talk to you sooner than later.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kevin. Thank you, everyone, for attending.